Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. All right, guys, tonight we're going to go to NYC and we're going to look at an article specifically around an announcement that the New York City Mayor Eric Adams just made around his new plan to combat gun violence. Now, the beautiful thing about arguing and reporting on things that the left does is they very typically undermine their own arguments because they can't back them up with fact. When they have to get down to the actual root cause, it undermines everything that they say. And this article is full of this. Please spread this out because this is a perfect case in point of where New York City is figuring it out. And the left is very upset about it. We're going to dive into everything. It's linked in the description box below. And if you're a return viewer or a new viewer, we're always trying to earn that subscription on this channel. So if you think this is worth your time, please join us because we got a long year ahead of us. We are driving towards the midterms, and we are going to pass the blessing of the Second Amendment along to the next generation, and we'd love to have you along for the ride. So subscribe and make sure you hit that notification bell because because YouTube has a tendency to forget sometimes. All right, so let's dive in. New York City's mayor is a former NYPD captain. This is his plan to combat gun violence in the city. Now, this is from CNN, Monday on January 24th. Okay, CNN. Plagued by a spate of high-profile incidents of violence during his first 3 weeks in office, New York City Mayor Eric Adams on Monday laid out an ambitious blueprint to combat gun violence. Again, there's that gun violence thing. From increasing officers on patrol and combating the influx of guns into the city, to encouraging prosecutors to move forward earlier with gun charges and creating jobs for residents at high risk. Okay, that's kind of an overview. Watch what happens when you dive in and you'll start to see where the left is getting undermined by this argument. This is really, really important because I love this stuff. All right, here we go. Check this out. The plan will leverage the New York Police Department with, quote, targeted precision policing. Okay, they don't like that. Focusing on the 30 precincts where 80% of the violence occurs, and expand the anti-violence crisis management system to address the symptoms of gun violence. I'm going to focus on one thing here. 30 precincts where 80% of the violence occurs. If you recall, the entire gun control argument is there are guns everywhere. They have permeated the entire culture. It's an epidemic of gun violence. Well, if that were the case, that would make it systemic, which would make it equal everywhere. 30 precincts where 80% of the violence occurs. They always undermine and tell you the answer to the question. You just have to look for it. And that's the first example. Let's dive in because I got some more stuff which is really important to highlight because they kind of gloss over it. Check this out. Adams, a former NYPD captain, had already revealed some details of his plan. He told CNN on Sunday the city will immediately reinstate a newer version of modified plainclothes anti-gun unit. Very important, modified. Why would they say modified? Because we really focus on the why on this channel, right? Again, going back to the fact that this is making leftist heads explode. Modified. Remember that because here comes the next quote. Check this out. Incoming NYPD Commissioner Keechant Sewell has asked precinct commanders to select candidates for the modified plainclothes anti-gun unit, according to a city official. The unit's focus would be getting illegal guns off the street. Okay. Anytime they use the exact same phrase, exactly the same, in a different context, there's a reason. Modified. The reason that they're driving home the idea of modified unit and reintroducing plainclothes officers is because they know that the left is going to go apoplectic about the fact that plainclothes officers and stop and frisk and actually addressing people with punitive reactions is going to elicit a very negative impulse from them. And this is what they were trying to avoid. Listen to what the critics are saying. The Legal Aid Society, Brooklyn Defender Services, the Bronx Defenders, the Neighborhood Defenders Service of Harlem, and Queens Defenders welcomed some of the planned measures, including job development, so money, but criticized Mayor Adams' focus on discredited punitive and surveillance-based strategies. Basically, you're going to be watching people for doing crime, and then you're actually going to make them pay for it in jail time? That's weird. Including his call for additional rollbacks to bail and discovery reform. So you're going to keep the people who have violated the rules and all these gun control laws you put in place, actually keep them in prison? Doesn't that seem counterintuitive? Because that's kind of what you wanted with all these gun control laws, right? Or was it just get rid of the guns? Let's keep going. Increased use of facial recognition and reinstatement of the NYPD's historically racist anti-crime unit. They don't want more police officers, but they're getting them. That's why. But they want the job development. That's why they said modified. And this part is where Eric Adams, the mayor, actually hits on economics. We have to stop the flow of guns, the mayor said. We are removing thousands of guns off our streets, and it appears as though for every gun we remove from the street, 5 are coming in. That is unacceptable. The reason that is happening is because you are creating a vacuum. If you don't have a specific good and you are trying to get that good, the price has now gone up. You're creating a vacuum where you're going to have guns going for higher prices, and the more that you take off the market, the more the demand goes up, and also the price will go up. That's why you have more and more guns flooding into New York City, because you've created an artificial black market. It's not that hard to understand, but that's what they're hinting at there, but he can't say it. And this part blows my mind. If a district attorney's office pursues a charge related to gang or gun violence, moving it to the front of the docket, much the same way hospitals triage patients with life-threatening conditions ahead of those less in need, it would serve as a crucial step towards getting guns off our streets faster. Why are you not doing that already? And also, just since we're hovering around the topic, related to gang or gun violence, also 30 precincts with 80%. Remember that part early in the article? It sounds like a very small portion of precincts is committing 80% of the crime, and by his next statements will be gang or gun violence related. It sounds like he's actually hitting at criminals, not at everyday people. But you guys can let me know in the comments below what you think. Let me know, and I will see you tomorrow morning on the bullet points. I'm Braden. See you later.